I think it's obvious for us that if we take a rules of 1900 etiquette manual and apply it to nowadays, it's not going to work. But as I was reading this book, I actually couldn't help but notice some things that I didn't find shocking, as I knew that it's going to be very different with what we have now as a society. But still, I think it's a nice reminder to kind of check whether we're not dragging something rigid and maybe there is some room for improvement. So the first is etiquette is the frame. Being good is not enough. The book clearly says that one may possess natural politeness, yet all of this may be of little value if one fails to keep informed concerning the fashions and practices that cultured and well-bred people recognize. So you have to be accepted in order to belong in the room by a group of people that are considered well-bred. And for me, that's not a coordination system. The etiquette, in that case, etiquette doesn't really solve any problem. It rather creates a gate, and there is a group of people who decide who belongs. Another thing is the gender imbalance, something that I knew I'm going to find there. But still, every time I would read a sentence in a rule, something like, good manners are important for men, but even so for women, it still would kind of it would still get a reaction out of me. So I wanted to share this part. The first duty of a man is that he forgets self, that in all his dealings with his fellow creatures, their wishes, their comfort govern him. This is the true test of the gentleman. So a man is given an identity, a philosophy, and kind of a concept to move through every room. But when you turn a page, there's a chapter about women. And of course, it starts with a question often comes up, not so easily answered. What shall I do with my hands? Some girls always carry a fan, but you cannot always have one in your hands. So it's better to practice keeping the arms pressed lightly against the side in walking or sitting. And what actually made me stop here is that I still receive those questions. In my private sessions, I still have female students who come to me and ask, oh, well, Kateryna, can you please help us? So, well, where do we put our hands when we take a picture, etc. And for me, it's a technical question. It's easy to solve, and I think it's good when practical information may just, close the concern and let the person confidently move through the room. But a question is, why is it still a concern? When I moved on and read about the part about the debutante, I was surprised at how pointy every rule was for this young lady who was just presented in the society and the amount of pressure that she had to go through. So her dress must be particular fabric. She has to carry only fresh flowers. She has to stand on her mother's left during the reception, but then at the table she should be on her father's right. She has to be escorted by her brother. She doesn't make any social calls without her mother, or doesn't attend any parties without a chaperone. All those things, and the way she has to be presented, addressed, etc. So every detail actually mattered. This wasn't about a personality. It was just about a performance, and whoever performed the best would win what? I think the obvious answer is a good marriage, but is it really a prize to win? But something that I found quite interesting and surprising is a part about children. So children are given, well, actually not children directly, but parents are given two advice that they can implement to their children, which I found absolutely charming. So the first one is that every child should be encouraged to have a pet because it teaches them responsibility, and even if that pet will be a little bit on the parent's way. And the second one is that children shouldn't be forced to kiss the strangers, even if those strangers came to a dinner party at a house. And it explains that no child enjoys kissing a stranger, and strangers not really enjoy receiving kisses from kids neither. So it's better to get rid of it, which is great. It solves the problem. Both parts don't like it, so we get rid of it. So the instinct was there. It's just the form what was missing. And I decided to record this video just for us to ask ourselves, are there any etiquette rules that we still follow that maybe don't make sense anymore? Or maybe they don't solve a problem, or they don't facilitate our communication. Because I think that's what etiquette should be. It should create a safe space for everyone to be present in the room and also to be themselves with the respect for others.